Hey everybody, we are continuing our series on how to add rhythm to chord changes, and today we're going to be going over our 3-note rhythm pattern to go over a third chord progression. And so how that works is we're going to be using the major scale chord progression, and I'll show you real quick kind of how that works. You use the major scale, so if we're in the key of C, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. And then if you add chords to that, it would be a 1 chord, which is a C, a 2 minor, which is a D minor, 1 over 3, which is a C over E, a 4, which is an F, a 5, which is a G, 6 minor, which is A minor, 5 over 7, which is G over B, and then you end on the 1 where you started. But the progression that we're using is going to be this. Have you ever wanted to learn how to play your favorite worship songs on piano? Well, I have something that's perfect for you. It's called Worship Piano Academy. It's an online space to help people of all skill levels learn to play worship piano exactly like the pros do. It's packed full of simple techniques that are easy to follow and tailored specifically for worship piano players. If you're brand new to piano, we have all the basic lessons to get you on track. If you've been playing for a while, we have tons of advanced lessons and tips for you too. So check out worshippianoacademy.com. And then the rhythm note that we're going to add going into each chord change is going to be 3 notes. And again, it's the top note of your left hand, and it's the first and the last note of the chord that you're playing. So if we're playing a C, it would be the top note and the first note and the last note. And because we're only doing 2-note chords in our right hand, it's just going to be the first and last note, obviously. And so the rhythm pattern that we're using, it's going to be 16th notes. And so I'll explain real quick. So a quarter note means that there's 4 quarter notes inside a measure. And so you count it like this: 1, 2, 3, 4. And then you double that and it's 8th notes. And so it's 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And then 16th notes is what we're going to be using. And you count that like this: 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a. And so the E and a is how we're playing that 3-note rhythm pattern. So if there's a chord on the 1 beat, so it'll sound like this: 1, 2, 3, 4E and a 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 1. And if we walk down, we'll do a little bit quicker. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And as you can see, my fingers are changing. See how I just switched here? My pinky, and then I brought my other finger over to hold that note down so that my next chord, I can use my pinky. So really, when you're playing chord progressions, you just have to kind of figure out which fingers you want to use based on where your hand's going to be in the next chord. So if I'm going to walk down, I'll play my C like this, and then I'll use my 4th finger to play the next chord. And then I might let that sustain and hold my pedal down so I can position my hand in the next chord. All right, then I go to the 4th finger, I go to the 3 finger there, my 2 finger. Right, so those 4 chords, my top note was played by my pinky, and then my ring, and then my middle, and then my pointer finger. So just kind of play around with the fingering that you want to use, and just try to make it consistent, because it'll help when you transition into other keys. If you're using the same fingers, it'll just make that transition much easier. And so we played that progression with the chords on the 1 beat. Now let's try it with the chord on the 1 and the 3 beat. And so it'll sound like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1. And then you can also play it where their chords are on the 1, 2, 3, and 4 beat. And so when you're doing that, it's pretty much constant rhythm because it's chord, rhythm, rhythm, rhythm on the E and then the next chord. And so it sounds like this. Actually, I'll start off slow. So it's 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 and and I'll speed up going down. And then another thing you can do is if the chords are spaced out far enough, you can add quarter note rhythm in your right hand. And so it kind of sounds like this. If we're going to play the chords on the 1 beat, we can add a quarter note hit with our right hand on the 2, 3, and 4 beats. So it sounds like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then when we walk down, we'll add the chords on the 1 and the 3 beat. So it sounds like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So there's a lot of different ways that you can play that. And so songs aren't going to follow this major scale chord progression, right? It's not going to always walk up and down the scale. It's going to be a combination of chords inside that scale. And so a good practice is just to pick out chords in that scale and then use this rhythm pattern. And just kind of mix up the chords and try it. And so now I want to take this rhythm pattern and walk up all 12 keys, just so you can get familiar with playing it in all 12 keys. And actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to start at the top and I'm going to work down because I think it sounds better. And you can walk up. And so we'll start in D and we'll hit the chords on the 1 and the 3 beat. And so it sounds like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's kind of low, but you get the point. And then we'll go to E. F. And then G. Now let's do the sharps and flats. So we'll start at C sharp. And then D sharp. And then F sharp. And then G sharp. And then the last one is B flat. And so I hope that helps you practice that on all 12 keys, and try to use the same fingering, because if you use the same fingers, then making that transition to the other keys is going to make it a lot easier to learn. So I hope that helps, and then I'll see you in the next video.